almost got scammed by a self-help coach, and I'm here as a self-help content creator to tell you exactly what to look out for and why what you're getting into probably isn't worth what you're paying for it. The reason I'm making this video as someone who actually does make videos on self-help and whatever is because I wholeheartedly believe and I wholeheartedly know that there are always parts of yourself that you can improve, that you can make better, and there's always sides of yourself that you haven't faced yet. And sometimes you need to find someone to be able to see what it is that you need to face. But just like the way that you need to date around to find a match, you also need to do that when it comes to therapists or maybe mental health coaches or whatever it is you're trying to get. The first person is not going to be a match, and a lot of the times that is exactly what these self-help coaches are trying to sell you. They are trying to sell you that you need to be their match, not them being your match. Essentially, a lot of self-help coaches out on the internet, they're trying to make you believe that their service is scarce and they don't have any time for people, and then you need to fill out an application to see if you're a good fit. And while that's definitely valid because someone who does self-help can also pick whoever they want to work with, when you're someone who is trying to solve something within yourself, you will be more vulnerable to spend a lot of your hard-earned money on a program that is supposedly going to be able to fix your insecurities or going to be able to grow you without this person actually having made you feel that, oh, this is more than just some money grab offer. As I was shopping around to see if I could find a viable coach or someone that I could, maybe there was a coach out there that would be a right choice for me. I decided that I was going to go and submit an application to maybe see what it would be like to be coached by one of these people. And I know for a fact that getting these coaches to help you is not going to necessarily be cheap, and there's nothing wrong with it not being cheap. Helping people, you can charge for that. And I'm going to say that very clearly. You can charge for that. That's fair. But one thing that I did not expect was when I got called by someone who was trying to sell me this course, the first thing that they almost asked me about is, oh, we got to figure out whether you're a match. Not, you know what, we want to see if you are going to pick us, which is going to leave me with my own autonomy to be able to pick. And maybe that's going to actually make me want to pick that person. No. They are using the scarcity principle in economics to make it seem like I need to pick them and like, oh, we need to see if you fit. And the second thing that they started asking was about money. And no matter how much money you are, no matter if you have a lot of money for self-help, or if you don't have too much money for self-help, or wherever money level you are at, one question that will make you literally be trapped by one of these mental health coaches out here is they're going to start trying to sell you a product. They're going to reel in by telling you all about the product. They're going to make you talk all about yourself, so that in the end, when they do propose the offer, you feel like you've spent too much time listening to the offer not to buy in. And this was exactly what the guy on this phone call was trying to do to me. So what he essentially said is, oh, we want to know about your economic situation. And the first rule of being a girl who sets boundaries is understanding that no one, not even person who's trying to sell you something, needs to know about your economic situation. If you sign up for getting coaching help from someone, they already know that you actually have the willingness to try to get help, which means that you should have financial willingness. Why else are you signing up? What they try to get you with here is they make you try to question whether you can actually afford it. So it seems like it's a much better offer. And this they do by asking you personal questions so that you feel like you owe it to them to sign up. But in reality, what this person didn't do is that they didn't give me a price. The first thing I asked about is, well, can I get some price points on what this specific coaching or what different coachings would cost? And he said, well, we got to figure out if you're a good match first. That's why I'm asking you questions about your financial situation. I said, I don't need to be asked questions about my financial situations. I need to be informed about whether or not a price is this or that, so that I can give you an informed decision about whether I want to pay for that. And this is exactly where I, with my huge ego, understood that this person who's trying to sell this coaching service understood and clocked that I probably have enough guts to not get scammed by these mental health coaches. Because he started saying, well, we need some point of view to be able to understand whether you can afford this. And I said, well, you know what? The only point of view you need to have is, can I pay for this or not? So you need to provide me with a price, or else I can't say yes or no. I left this man stuttering. And you know what this is actually a great lesson about? It's a great lesson about being straightforward when it comes to getting things that you want. Whether this is dealing with men or it's dealing with you becoming a better version of yourself. A lot of the times when we're trying to become a better version of ourselves, we are actually afraid of asking the core questions to the people that we're trying to learn from. He clocked that I was not interested in sharing my financial situation the same way that if you go to the Louis Vuitton store and you ask to buy a bag, they're not going to question you and say, well, we need to know about your financial history so we can know whether you can buy this bag or not. Louis Vuitton is just trying to sell you a bag. If you buy the bag, they're happy. That is how buying stuff works. If they're trying to question whether you can afford it or not, it is a mind game. And it is also a mind game that made me very much realize that this whole coaching thing that a lot of people got going on is a scam. And I am not unwilling to say that as someone who actually does self-help videos. Because there's a big difference between being polite, saying, you know what, I want to figure out whether you are someone who is suited for us to work together, and then shutting down, being like, I'm not sure we can work together when someone asks a very direct question. When people start deflecting, when it comes to you getting help, they're not in the business of actually helping you. I understand that a business person needs to have an insight whether that person would actually pay for a service or not. But the way you do that is not through saying, well, I need to know this and this and that about you. Because I know he's trying to sell something and I'm willing to buy, but I'm also willing to be transparent. It made me realize that my own self-growth was actually at a point where I'm like, I'm not going to stand for that. I felt completely comfortable asking him those questions, the guy I was on the phone with, and I felt happy that he rejected me. And the funny thing is, he was asking me about money things. But when it comes to me saying, well, you know what, do you have a price? He couldn't even come up with, oh, well, you know, we have different prices for different coaching, different ways of coaching. But I'm willing to introduce you to the different ways in which we can offer you coaching so that you may make an informed choice. And I started saying, you know what, I want a price to be able to see whether it's something that I'm interested in or not. He started shutting down. I've actually had this happen to me before where I was trying to do a marketing job for an old man. If you watched my video about why old men are not to be messed with, you will know about this story. I'm someone who has a fair bit of skills when it comes to marketing. So as I was sitting and talking to a man in a park, because I was sitting and reading a business book, he started asking me about, oh, what are you reading? And then we started talking about how he was in business with some jewelry company that he had, and he needed someone to help with his marketing. He was yapping and yapping and yapping about how I could get a cut of the money if I wanted to work with him, until I said, I don't do no cut of nothing. I get front payment for the work that I do. It's upfront payment or I'm not going to be on board. The way this guy straightened up and was like, oh, okay, I know you mean business, was actually a good sign. because he clocked that I'm not here to sit and waste anybody's time. I'm actually trying to do business, and getting someone to coach you is business too. And you can actually get way better to the point where you actually build a mutual connection or just get a good coaching session with someone when you do understand that there's something you're paying for. When you go and get a therapist, you ask for what it costs, and they're not afraid to tell you this is what it costs per session. When you know the cost, you can also figure out whether that's something that you actually want to pay for. And from then on, you know that it is a transactional thing. You're getting a service for you getting therapy. And then you can get into the nitty-gritty of whether this person is actually someone who's suited to help you. If you're fine with the price, then you know when you step into that session that that session is going to give you value. Because someone's saying, this is what I can offer, and you're saying, okay, I'll take it. What does that have to do with the story of the old man who said he wanted me to do marketing? Well, when I said, oh, you know what, I'd help you out with marketing, but I'm only going to take upfront payment for my marketing work. What he said is, I want to arrange a meeting where we can talk about how we could actually do this marketing so we can see if we're a potential match. When I was straightforward, it was way easier to figure out whether this is something that I could work with or not. I thought of that conversation with the guy, the old dude, when I was on that call with the coach representative, because I was like, you know what? Even the old buddy in the park didn't have no problem saying, okay, I get you. I 100% get you. You want to know whether I am actually willing to pay what it costs to get marketing help? Fine, great. Which means he's not desperate to get help. He is willing to see whether it's actually a good fit. He's willing to see whether we can actually work together. And he clocked that I am also not desperate to get work, which meant that I'm also better at being able to judge whether this job would be right for me, which means we could actually figure out whether we could work together way smoother. This is not what happened on that call with the coach representative. The coach representative told me, oh, we have to figure out whether you're a good match. No, you already know I'm not, because I'm willing to ask straightforward questions, which means I deserve straightforward answers. You can't give them to me because your business model is based on luring people in by making them overshare with you before you even get to do a call, so that they feel that they need to pay for this service now because they've already enmeshed themselves in this long conversation with this coach recruiter. Oh, I had this conversation, and they really want to get to your emotional pain points. They really want to get to your emotional pain points, like, oh, so did you have a hard childhood where your parents said that you couldn't go spend money on ice cream? We can help you break out of that cycle. Let's talk about that so we can make you feel like you need to emotionally be a part of this club that is all based on you feeling like you need to overshare because you've already overshared a little bit. Girl, if you do not feel comfortable sharing information with someone who's trying to recruit you for being coached, that is fine. There's always a way for you to tell people exactly what you need without someone needing to pry and pry and pry. That is exactly what the coaching is for. A good coach will make their customer, will make their client feel like they are choosing them. Not, oh, we need to figure out whether you're a match, so we're going to make you trauma dump so that we can hook you and kind of shame you for not having enough money or not having the willingness to pay for this. So that's why we got to ask you these questions. Ooh, woo. And the reason why I called this video, I almost got scammed, is because I didn't almost get scammed. Like, I'm luckily very proud of myself to know that I'm not going to fall for this. I am someone who will actually regularly join webinars online that talk about like self-growth. And a lot of the times these webinars always end up in selling something. And I don't think that's anything wrong with that. People gotta eat. There's nothing wrong with having a business. And that is not what we're here to do today. We're not here to shame people for making money out of them being able to coach people. That's not what we're doing today. And if you wanna shame people in the comment section, feel free, because that boosts my video. But that's not what we're here to do. What I'm here to point is that you will not grow with a coach if that coach is making you trauma dump, trauma bond in order for them to hook you. If I ever become a coach, which I feel like is a little unlikely, because considering I know that all people are different, and you know what, if I do become a coach, you'll know how I'll do my coaching. We're here to choose our therapists. We're here to choose our coaches, people that feel like resonate with us at this moment. We're not here to feel forced into choosing something, feel forced into sharing something when we haven't even signed up. It's like giving people your social security number before you sign up for a loan. And without having a contract, without having something legally binding that protects your information. Because you know what? You're not going to protect your information if you keep sharing it. Sharing it with the right person is right, but sharing it with someone when you haven't even gotten to the point where you're being coached yet, that is a major red flag that you should look out for. That doesn't mean that you can't brush on the things that you might want to work on. That doesn't mean that you can't figure out whether a coach is the right match for you. And mentoring and getting a coach is absolutely a great thing to do. But when you get a therapist, they don't tell you, oh, tell me about the most trauma you've had so we can figure out if I want to help you. No, that is literally conditioning by the therapist. Damn. What it also made me realize is just maybe I'm too evolved to be dealing with someone like maybe I am actually a good enough coach for myself. That is really rubbing my own ego. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe it's my ego. But you know what? For a girl, it's good to have a big ego, because in this world, having an ego is something that they say to women to make sure that they shrink themselves. So I remember once I joined a webinar with someone who's trying to help people like uncover their true selves or like their shadow self or whatever. And then at the end of the webinar, it's like pitching and pitching and pitching and pitching. And then it's like, by the way, for $5,000, you can get this package of self-help, whatever. And it's like, so this whole thing is just a marketing speech. And I get that a lot of webinars are that, but I could tell so many people in the comment sections of those webinars were literally conditioned throughout the webinar to believe that that was the right choice to make. I wholeheartedly believe more in take it or leave it. If you like the way that I talk, if you like the way that I coach, if you like the way that I help you, choose it. But I'm not here to make you chase. I am not here to make people chase me, because that would go wholeheartedly against what I'm trying to teach people, which is law of attraction, finding the power within yourself. If I was out here trying to chase people into buying my offers, like pitching in someone's DM or something, oh, maybe you should be a part of my whatever, that would feel so wrong. And that's very different from making an offer and letting your presence, letting your essence speak for itself and attracting those that truly deserve and truly resonate with your voice and your talent and whoever you want to be. Doing a little commercial for yourself, doing a little commercial for the work that you do is very different than trying to coerce someone into believing that, well, people need to pick you. Self-help is all about understanding that you can pick yourself and put yourself first. But if that self-help coach is all about, oh, well, we need to figure out if you're a good match, then that's literally like a man saying, what do you bring to the table? I'm not sure. That was the vibe I was wholeheartedly getting from that phone call. What do you bring to the table? I'm trying to bring you business if you had acted right, but you didn't. So I think I'm better off making a video about this on my YouTube channel so that I can share this to the people that I actually make content that hopefully helps them. There's nothing wrong with being paid or getting people to pay for something that you offer, but I cannot deal with how self-help today is marketed like it's some club that you need to figure out if you fit into to be able to be a part of, because that's just going to give you more self-issues. If you feel like you need to spend $5,000 on something because someone told you that you have a choice, you can make your future brighter now, then I don't trust that coach. You will find what is right for you when you find it, and it will feel right to you. But don't let these mental health coaches use mental tricks on you that you're actually trying to protect yourself from by actually getting coaching. And as I said, we're not here to shame someone for helping other people. That's a good thing. Making content, making products, making whatever. I love when I find someone that I resonate with and they have digital products to help out, journals, whatever, because they're actually making a product that will help people. There's nothing wrong with offering coaching. There's nothing wrong with marketing yourself. There's nothing, you need marketing to be able to do what you need to do. But there's such a big difference between doing that, offering something that will actually help people, and saying, you know what, this is the price. You go on some shopping website and say, you know what, you got to pay this to be able to get this type of help. Here's my schedule. This is what I offer. This is the price. I'd sell these journals, this and that. Great. I think that's wonderful. I've considered making journals and books for people with neurodivergence on self-help stuff, because I know that that's something that there's nothing wrong with offering a product and charging for that product. Let's just get that straight. But what is wrong is using the tactics that you are trying to build boundaries so that you don't fall for anymore, to try to coerce you into getting coaching so that you can get rid of those tendencies. That literally does not make sense. It is actually worse than being a hypocrite. It's worse than being controversial. It's worse than anything. What? You're using the tactics of scarcity and saying you need to be the one. We got to figure out if we will pick you. We got to figure out if you're worthy. We got to figure out what you bring to the table to find out whether we will offer you our service. If you're trying to unlearn a lot of the people pleasing, overcompensating, oversharing, whatever, your red flags need to be raised like crazy. When you see these self-help coaches trying to sell you some $1,000 thing where it's like the first thing that they do is that they try to tell you all about the things that you could learn, and then they don't even want to tell you how much it is till the end. And now they're like, well, you already spent all of this time listening to me talk about this, so you should invest in it. Be so for real. Be so for real. That is something that will make me always think that someone is a scammer. Not because people are not allowed to sell what they can offer. People should help out other people. Yeah. But because if you can't be transparent with what you offer, what it costs, who it can help out straight up, you don't have a product that is good enough. And you are afraid that this product is not going to sell. And the customers that you're going to get are not going to be people that are going to be loyal to you. They're not going to be people that are actually going to value your service, because they are going to be coerced into buying that service. They're going to be you're going to use the tactics that they're going to need to unlearn. The reason they're getting coaching is so that they can become a better version of themselves that have better boundaries. And now you're trying to sell them something by trying to go past their boundaries, asking them uncomfortable questions, making them trauma bond. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So watch out. Girlies, gays, everyone out there, watch out for this. Because I promise you that it is not worth sitting and feeling like, oh, this person makes me feel like I need to sign up. You need to feel like, oh, this person make me feel like I want to sign up. I feel good about myself. Wow, they really give me enough already, so I'm sure that person can offer me much more if I actually pay for coaching or products or whatever. And I know that they're upfront, so I don't mind paying, because I know that that's what they're gonna have to, that's what they charge, and that's fair. The way that we solve our mental problems, the way that we solve whatever it is we need to solve and become a better version of ourselves, is not by being gaslit into believing that we need to buy a product. It's by choosing of our own free will to sign onto something that actually makes us feel like we could become a better version of ourselves. It is not gaslighting season. We will not do that this season. 2025 is for going on a yacht with your girlfriends and shaking your yacht. It's not getting scammed by self-help people. And I'm sure going and shaking your yacht on a yacht would actually help you more than you literally being emotionally conditioned by someone who is supposedly selling you a service that's going to help you out. And now you're a little bit broker and you're a little more broken because you didn't get that solved. I didn't get scammed because I've actually worked on my boundaries. And that is exactly why I know that these people were scammers, because even if you haven't worked on your boundaries, you shouldn't feel forced to take an offer or to go and like dance like some jester at court to prove that you're worthy to be picked by a coach. I believe that you guys deserve the best. I believe that you guys, your growth, I'm so proud of everyone who's watching my videos and who tell me about their growth. I will not let your worth or your growth be stunted by someone who's not willing to tell you what you need to pay to get access to help. So don't be afraid to be more straightforward, because if they were truly interested in helping you, they would also be straightforward. Love you.